You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Home and Finance Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take and how your family and business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content this morning, please join me in welcoming our featured guest this morning, Lexi Camargo, the Realty System. Welcome.
Good morning, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. And repeat offender, Lance Indis, Prominent Escrow Services. Welcome back.
Hey, what's going on?
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
He made it here today. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. You can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I should have brought some sing-along. We know something. We've got Lance Indis here. He's a world-famous musician. So maybe we can get you to sing a little happy birthday for us, Lance, while we talk about Mickey Mouse's birthday. No, I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't have a piano for it. Actually, there probably is a piano here. But it is Mickey Mouse's birthday, November 18th. Lance, is it your birthday today, too?
Nope.
You were born in 1928, though, right? Same as Mickey?
Sure.
1928. November 18, 1928. And a quote from the famous Walt Disney. I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse, unquote. I don't remember, though, in all my studies of Disney, which were very, very minimal, I don't remember if there were any cats. Maybe that's to save cats.
No hats, you said?
No cats.
Oh, no cats.
Cats, Lance, cats.
Yeah.
I don't remember any cats
I
in
don't know.
Disney.
This whole line of talk is just very cheesy to me.
Oh, okay, Lance. I had to breathe. I was going to use this when I introduced you this morning, but now I've got to.
You're absolutely useless.
We better get on with it. We'll get on with, as one of those famous cartoonists said, we better get on with the show. What are we talking about today? How about, looks like the Labor Department numbers came in. Wholesale prices rose 0.2% in October, beating expectations for a slight 0.1% fall. Why would they expected them to go down? They went up. That sounds like some fairly decent news. Is it having any effect on the market today? Nah, 41 points up as we speak right now. What else is happening? We've got interesting story, and we've talked about the unemployment numbers quite a bit, but we're seeing actually as we dig deeper into the numbers, yes, we are at a 5.8% unemployment number, and that is the lowest level in 6 years. But the problem here, 37% of America's civilian population, about 92 million people, are very similar to Lance. They're not out working. Can you believe that? 37%.
You are correct, sir.
37% not in the workforce. That's the problem right there with what's going on. And obviously, that doesn't even take into account, we got 92 million legally documented citizens not working. They're not the ones that are of retirement age. That doesn't count the young kids who are not quite workforce age. And we're now hearing that the president wants to add another 5 million people to the workforce by executive order. Speaking about...
You're absolutely useless.
I shouldn't say that about the President of the United States, but sometimes you have a problem here and there. Moving right along. Well, what do we expect? Got a lot of industry information, real estate industry information.
Ooh, I like
Here's
that.
what you like that stuff?
I like that.
The industry professionals right now are expecting very little change over the next 6 months. This is coming out of a report from the Collingwood Group Mortgage Industry Outlook report for October 2014. It was just released on Monday. The majority of mortgage industry professionals who were surveyed said they did not expect business conditions to be drastically different in the next 6 months, along a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 being much worse and 10 being much better. 34% of the respondents said they expected business conditions to be a little better in the next 6 months. 22% expected business conditions to be a little worse. So we're basically going to move along. The industry is going to basically just stagnate as far as real estate. So what does that mean to you? Well, we're looking at the reports that came out this morning from the home builders, and their numbers are coming out saying that their sentiment is higher. Now, you have to understand they've got a vested interest in telling us that they're expecting good business. But if they are correct and business does improve for the home builders, that means there's more inventory coming to market. More inventory coming to market means prices are not going to have that pressure to move upward. May stagnate a little bit. We're going to talk to Lexi about that in a little bit, but the issue right here is, where are the prices going? What do we see the prices going to? And obviously we'll have a lot better insight when we get that. I think it's the 3rd of December. We're going to get the Orange County report from Chapman University. So looking forward to that. The other issue that came out of this Collingwood Group report, 71% of mortgage lenders said the odds of them lowering credit score requirements for borrowers are between somewhat and extremely unlikely. Lowering credit score requirements for borrowers, somewhat to extremely unlikely. What does that mean for you? Well, the real scenario there is, it means that you have to understand the nuances of the English language. Very, very subtle comment, and this is something we've talked about before. And I reference here my grandfather. He used to share with me all the time that the English language is a great thing. It all depends how you use it. So when I share with you on a regular basis, you should never, ever go to a big bank on the corner to get a loan. Never go to the big bank on the corner to get a loan.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Here's the reason why. Great people. Some of my favorite people in the whole world work for big banks. My son happens to be one of them. But they only offer you the products of that institution. I challenge you, go walk into a Bank of America today and ask them what the rates are at Chase. Probably not going to know. And if you go to Chase, they probably won't tell you what the rates are at Wells Fargo. Further, they're not going to know what the qualifications are to get a loan from any of those institutions. And yes, every one of them has their own qualifications for loans. So when you hear from a Chase or a Wells Fargo or a B of A, if you make the mistake of going into them, that you do not qualify. The English language, they forgot one little phrase there. You don't qualify here. That doesn't mean that you don't qualify, because we shared with you yesterday almost the entire broadcast discussing how the lending standards are easing, where there are areas that you can get loans, where there are opportunities for you. You just have to make a call, and I suggest whether you call our team, just happens to be one of the best out there, or if you want to call any mortgage banker, not a broker, not a bank itself, a mortgage banker, call any one of them. They're following probably 40 to 50 institutions at any given time. And I drive around a lot. I don't see 40 or 50 institutions out there. You can't walk into all 40 or 50 if that's what you're inclined to do. A personal shopper is what your good mortgage banker is doing for you. You are listening to Ron Siegel, Home and Finance Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, where are prices headed over the next 5 years? Can you believe that we've got that answer for you? Can a debt collector fax my employer? 7 things you can do about IRS phone scams. Where's real estate going? And the independent free agent Lance Indies is in the house. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the normal places. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team is thrilled to have helped Southern California save money by refinancing with HARP. But there are millions more of you who could be saving big money on your home loans by getting HARPed. With HARP, you may be able to refinance with Siegel Lending Team, even if your home has lost value. For example, if you owe $300,000 on your mortgage, but your home is only worth $150,000, Siegel Lending Team may still be able to help you get HARPed and start saving. Or if your current mortgage is higher than 4.99%, give us a call today at 800-306-1990. Once again, if your current mortgage is higher than 4.99% or you owe more than your home is worth, call Siegel Lending Team. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or go to SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL, LendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 6066 and 217037.
Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Are you ready to purchase your first home? Did you lose your home during the recent economic downturn? You might qualify for a free $15,000 grant toward a purchase of your new home. Yes, there are qualifications, however, most counties in Southern California are included. You simply need to submit your application to the Siegel Lending Team, get your pre-approval letter, go shopping, and start packing. Contact the Siegel Lending Team at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990 or www.SiegelLendingTeam.com. You might qualify for a free $15,000 grant toward a purchase of your new home. Again, apply for your free $15,000 at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990 or www.SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SiegelLendingTeam.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com, that's SIEGEL, LendingTeam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Home and Finance Radio. With every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Where are home prices headed over the next 5 years? That is the subject of today's real-time real estate segment, brought to you by the Siegel Lending Team. When you're ready for that next house, bigger house, second house, investment house, the team has the products geared for you. And now you'll have the phone number. It's 800-306-1990. So here's what I like to get information-wise for you. Everybody's got an opinion. Are they right? Are they wrong? I don't know. The question mark, the answer here is the reason I'm able to give you with such clarity where the prices are headed over the next 5 years is because we like the Home Price Expectation Survey. That's a quarterly survey that comes out from Pulsenomics, and they survey a panel of 100 economists, real estate experts, and investment market strategists. And they ask them, where are home prices headed for the next 5 years? Then they gather all that data, they average all of the projections of those 100 experts and put them into a single number. And the results of their latest survey are saying that home values will appreciate by 4.8% in 2014. Nationwide numbers, we're not talking about your block, your street. The cumulative appreciation will be 23.5% by 2019. Average annual appreciation, 3.6% over the next 5 years. And even the experts making up the most bearish, the ones that have the slightest idea, they're the most pessimistic. For those of you that are not real up on the Wall Street bears and bulls term, don't even want to go to the bull term here with Lance in the house, but the bearish quartile, they're saying a cumulative appreciation of 15.1% by 2019.
It's incredible.
Isn't that amazing numbers? Individual opinions make the headlines, but my idea, again, if you take 100 economists, you're generally going to get about 150 opinions because they all have more than one. And you can put those all together and try and make some average, make some sense. And the idea here is when you look at these different numbers, you can then make a business decision. Now, think about this concept, because now is when I want to really chat with Lex Camargo on this concept here, the investment properties. 15.1%. The average investor, maybe not average, but a good number of investors put in 25% down. Gives you a pretty good amount of leverage. So now where do those numbers translate? 15.1%, 25% down means you can take that 15.1, multiply it times 4, and get a 60.4% return between now and 2019 on your cash investment. 60% between now and 2019 on your cash investment. If you're familiar with the rule of 72, it just about gets you there. It means your original investment should double almost by 2019.
It's just equity overnight.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention that, you also have your loan pay down, which, if we're talking about investing, is being paid by renters. So that's being multiplied.
Explain that a little further, because a lot of people, we chatted yesterday a little bit about the idea that you're making a mortgage payment one way or another.
Okay, so it's very simple. Your mortgage payment, let's say for numbers' sake, on a fourplex would be about $5,000. Now, of that $5,000, that is completely 100% being covered by your renters, meaning that that's not money out of your pocket. You're using someone else's money, your renters, to pay down your mortgage. As you're doing that, they're giving you the equity gain. So not only are you gaining the appreciation, but someone else is paying for your equity, your loan pay down. In turn, your investment goes up.
So somebody else pays for the loan for me. I get the interest write-off. I get the appreciation, and I get to double my money in the next 5 or 6 years.
Absolutely. And Ron, the nice thing about it is if you are investing in multiple units instead of investing in a single family home, a lot of people think, oh, I'll buy a home for investment. Well, if you buy a $500,000 house, you're only gaining 15% on that $500,000 house. If you buy a 4-unit building at $1 million, then you're gaining the 15% on the bearish 15% on the $1 million. You're doubling your appreciation.
Absolutely. And that the other thing, Lexi, there also, from what I understand of it, is if you're buying a $1 million complex, multi-unit, the likelihood of having in a single unit, in a single family residence, and I have nothing against single family residence as a investment vehicle either, but if you have a single family residence and the renter moves out, you get zero.
Yeah, you're 100% vacant.
100% vacant. If you have a fourplex or fiveplex or whatever, multi-unit, one person moves out, that doesn't mean the others have to move out.
No.
So you may have, one unit vacant out of 4, and the other 3 may be covering the nut anyway.
That's absolutely correct. And with the vacant time for rentals being on average 13 to 16 days, it's not going to be vacant for very long. And that's also covered in a good strategic plan.
You kind of went by that pretty quick. I like that. I didn't realize that. 13 to 16 days is the average vacancy time?
That's correct.
Wow. I didn't. Now, is that only in apartment units or is that in single family residence as well?
No, that's primarily what I'm talking about is units that are individually owned. I normally don't track apartment complexes, which are just complexes owned by one larger apartment complexes, generally 10 plus units.
Okay.
I don't track that, but under 10 units, it's all pretty much the same.
Okay. So yeah, and that's a good, I'm glad you made that distinction, because that's all we're going to really talk about this morning is we're going to really focus on when I say complex, I didn't realize even that there was a differentiation there. So yeah, I'm just using the idea of 10 units or less because, when you start getting above 10 units, that's when you're talking about the big corporate owned type things. And here I want to really focus on what an individual can do, what Lance probably buys these all the time, but some of us, he buys the big units.
But he buys them generally while he's playing Monopoly.
Right, exactly.
I have like 4 houses on each property right now.
4 houses on each property.
Those little green houses.
The green, okay.
Yeah, so if you land on that, you're in big trouble with me.
Interesting. So the next thing let's kind of chat about this a little bit, Lexi, because one of the issues that I would probably have is I've got a business I run. I'm doing radio, and we're constantly out talking to the radio sponsors and the like. And obviously our lending team does their stuff also, but I don't have time to manage the property if I go and buy property. Is there a solution for that?
There's generally a very simple solution. A lot of times the brokers you use, in my case, all of the buyers or sellers that I work with, but in this case, we're talking about buyers. If you were to purchase a building, I generally manage the property at a discount.
So I don't have to really be a hands-on. I can just, if you need me, you can call me. But when the tenants have an issue, they call you, not me.
Absolutely. I have a staff of crew that are licensed and insured, and they go ahead and do any necessary repairs as needed.
Interesting. So that takes me out of that loop. And is that obviously it must not be cost prohibitive then?
No, it's absolutely not cost prohibitive. Generally, when we're looking into investing, we're setting up a plan before we even purchase the building, a financial plan, a strategy to maintain the building, to maintain the upkeep and so on. And we have different accounts that are designated for these things. So we're saving a little bit of money each month for repairs, for long-term repairs and so on.
Sounds like a real business.
It is. It really is. And
and that's really a lot of people. And I say that some people might think it sounds facetious, but the idea is that you're treating it like a business, and it's just that entity it has a profit and loss, and it has accounts for expected or anticipated costs. Exact. Tongue-tied here this morning. Holy cow. We're going to talk more about this with Lexi Camargo. The RealtySystem.net is her company. You can get involved with this as well. All you have to do is give us a call. We'll put you in touch. You are listening to Ron Siegel, Home and Finance Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, can a debt collector fax my employer? 7 things you can do about IRS phone scams. The independent escrow. What the heck does that mean? Why would you even want to talk to somebody that's independent? Got to understand why and what the benefits are. You can reach us anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us on Facebook as well, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Tweet me at Ron Siegel. And if you're catching the idea here of the way we're going, you know where to get on our mailing list. All you have to do is text my last name to 22828. And whatever you do, stay tuned, because we'll be back in just a few.
The team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,985. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 4.75% APR, 4.812% of that payment could support a $375,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,985 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's $61,000 worth of home that you're missing out on by waiting. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 6066 and 217037.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
The Wine Bar Bistro Restaurant and Wine Merchant is a full-service restaurant featuring an extensive wine list, 30 wines by the glass, a full bar, and great prices on delicious wine. Their menu is focused on the freshest and best ingredients, simply prepared. The wine list includes a great selection of domestic and international wines at all prices. The Wine Bar Bistro is located in the heart of the village of La Quinta, and the Ron Siegel Radio Wine Club is presented by the Wine Bar Bistro.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Home and Finance Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Can a debt collector fax my employer? That is the subject of today's Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It's wrong. I guarantee it. I don't guarantee very much, but it's easy for me to make that guarantee when my friend Rondi will give you $1,000 if your credit report is completely accurate. Doesn't mean you have to have a good score, just accurate. I'll give you $1,000. So far, he's never had to give that away. But the reports are wrong. Creditsanitizer.com, they can solve that problem for you. So we had a listener, Joan, gave us a call and was concerned about a debt collector had sent a fax to her employer. And at the top of the fax, this one sounds like it might be kind of intriguing. At the top of the fax, somebody put her social security number.
This is ridiculous.
And it was available to anybody that might grab the fax off of the fax machine. And here's kind of what the fax said. The comment from Joan said, can the debt collection agency send a fax to my employer disclosing my social security number on an unsecure fax line inquiring to fill in employment information about me? I feel violated that they exposed my social security number. That's a little bit of trouble. You can't get away. There are laws about divulging non-public information. When you're divulging non-public information, even to the point, and we're gonna chat with Lance Indies about this, because this might be not necessarily from the. I'm not saying that Lance is an expert in the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, but escrow, they get a lot of non-public information. That's a serious issue. So a debt collector cannot divulge non-public information. There's laws against that. In an email, the debt collector can only contact employers, family, or friends for the purpose of locating the debtor. and is prohibited under that Fair Debt Collection Practices Act from conveying information that would indicate the purpose of the communication. They can't even say why they are looking for Mr. Jones. So got to be real careful about that. They can be liable for it. They've got to protect your information. They may be breaking the law. Now, if there's a public lawsuit that's been adjudicated, they may be able to get away with that, but you got to watch out. And here's the idea. If you feel that you've been violated in this way, save the documentation, document everything, and then give us a call at 800-306-1990. There are some Fair Debt Collection Act attorneys that will take that on a contingency. The debt collection companies, bond company would not be very happy about them divulging that information. But let's take that from another standpoint, because I want to chat with Lance Indy's Prominent Escrow Services this morning. And Lance works with a independent escrow company, a very, very good escrow company. I have recommended them many, many times. Love their service. The people over there, Lance we put up with, but the rest of the team that really does that. Lance is out. He's the black sheep there. The rest of the people do great work over there at Prominent Escrow. And Lance is a friend, so I can say that about him. But Lance, there's a lot of concern these days about identity theft. And as an escrow company, you're getting a lot of confidential information. Is it a concern for your company? How do you deal with that? As far as, you don't want to mix files. You're having people come into the office to sign documents, or you're sending notaries out.
We have an archiving system set up in place where when the files close, it then is sent to a system. And all that information is usually destroyed at the end of the escrow. We don't keep that private information. Like your 1003, for example, is removed.
What's a 1003?
1003 would be
loan application?
Loan application form with the borrower's information on there. And that kind of information is removed at the close of escrow.
Now, I know at the lending companies, if we have anything that's got non-public information, even if I walk away to go to the restroom, the documentation has to be put away, locked.
I remember, if I may, when I was at First American, for example, they were very strict. We had to go through some protocol as to when you leave your desk and when you're working on things have to be closed, removed, put into a drawer, usually locked, and before you're allowed to leave your desk. Because if anybody were to walk by and get that information, they could use it any way they wanted.
So as a independent escrow company, you're really strict on those measures.
Certain people aren't allowed in the offices. They're not allowed to go into closed door offices where the escrow officer might be working because of the private confidential information that could be on that desk. They're allowed to usually wait in the waiting room or in the conference rooms. But yeah, because we're DOC licensed, which is the Department of Corporations, we have to be, we can be regularly audited at any time. So an inspector could come in there at any moment and just review and make sure that we're up to code and in compliance. And that's kind of a good feeling to know that the company you're working with is constantly under, scrutiny to make sure that they're in compliance, dotting their I's, crossing their T's when it comes to that kind of stuff. It just gives you more peace of mind with the people you're working with.
So I can be assured that if I walk in and I'm working with an escrow officer,
right,
and they won't bring me into their office, they bring me into a conference room. There's a reason. It's a security issue. So I should feel good about that.
Not only for your file, but others as well. Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
We always wonder about this, about the security. This day and age, everybody's really worried about identity theft. Right. And you're really dealing with the most sensitive. As far as an escrow company, a lender. Yeah, that's the most sensitive information people really have.
Yeah, we're just very, very good about that. Our HR department makes sure that we're always watching over that kind of stuff to make sure that we're in compliance, because we take it very seriously. So it's a good feeling that's then conveyed to not only the real estate agent professional, but also their clients.
Why do I want to go to two things? Number one, how do I know a escrow company is independent? And why do I want to use an independent as opposed to some huge, massive, multi-billion-dollar entity?
You can look us up on the internet. The internet will tell you pretty much a lot of information on the company. But
I looked you up, and boy,
yeah. Well, the first thing you're going to see is that Prominent is DOC licensed, which we've already
is Department of Corporations for California,
and there are broker-owned DOC licensed companies. but they still have the backing and the support of that broker, which is okay. But you have officers in a company that's being directed business by the real estate broker or by a title company if the title company owns the escrow company.
I'm going to butt in here as a consumer advocate and ask you a simple question. There's multiple parties to an escrow.
Yes.
So if I'm the escrow company, the idea of the escrow is to be an independent third party, neutral. Separate from, there's a better word. Neutral third party. If the neutral third party is owned by the broker on one side or the other, are they really neutral?
I mean, technically they say that they are, but we all know that their loyalty is going to be to support their agent, whoever represents their company, which makes sense. I mean, it's not a malicious thing. It's just they can't be entirely neutral to both sides of the transaction because they're going to look after their representative of their company. So if they are using the in-house escrow, then technically the answer is no. I'm not trying to denote any negativity there, but when you use an independent, we're truly standalone. We're not favoring with either side. We're there to do our jobs and make sure everybody, is in compliance. So
it is because it's something you just have to think about. And again, neither one of us are saying that the broker-owned company is pro or con because there's some great people out there in all areas. The question you just have to ask as a consumer is, do I have to be more on guard? And can a consumer direct where the escrow goes to?
I was going to go next. Yes. I always tell our friends that, hey, if you're selling your house, listing agents and the sellers pretty much control the transaction because if you figure you have a seller, he gets 5 offers, for example, they're going to pick the best one, meaning the most money, the more they have the most control, they can control the transaction, the services involved. So yes, the seller actually can choose their escrow and their title, and the listing agent works along with them on that. Buyers, they can try and write us in on the contract. They can say we want to use prominent escrow. If that doesn't get countered in the counter offer, it gets accepted, and then they can still use prominent escrow. But typically the listing agent or the seller controls that part of it.
Now, be aware, if you are astute, and I know you are because you're listening to our program every morning, 2009, there's something called the Buyer's Choice Act.
Right.
The Buyer's Choice Act basically says the buyer has the right to select the title in the escrow company. And that is the law in the state of California. Now, here's the reality of it. The seller has the right, or the listing side has the right to select which offer they accept. So even though you have the right to say, I want to use prominent escrow and I want to use fidelity title, if it may be, depending upon the marketplace, it might be a negotiating issue because the listing side, the seller, the person that owns that property, may say when they look at all the different offers, they may say, something, I'd rather one that doesn't make that choice, and that's their right as well. So even though the law says one thing, no one's breaking the law by negotiating away from that. It's just saying that is the law. There were some good reasons for it. I'm not going to go into the 2009 history of it, but be aware if it's there, it is the law. You should know about it, but in reality, the contracts are more frequently accepted where the listing side or the owner of the property has that option. You are listening to Ron Siegel, Home and Finance Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, 7 things you can do about IRS phone scams. More with Lance Indy's Prominent Escrow and Lexi Camargo, the Realty System. Stay tuned. You can reach me at our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Connect with us on Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. I'd be happy to put you in touch with Lance or Lexi right there. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team is thrilled to have helped Southern California save money by refinancing with HARP. But there are millions more of you who could be saving big money on your home loans by getting HARPed. With HARP, you may be able to refinance with Siegel Lending Team, even if your home has lost value. For example, if you owe $300,000 on your mortgage, but your home is only worth $150,000, Siegel Lending Team may still be able to help you get HARPed and start saving. Or if your current mortgage is higher than 3.99%, give us a call today at 800-306-1990. Once again, if your current mortgage is higher than 3.99% or you owe more than your home is worth, call Siegel Lending Team. Call Siegel Lending Team today at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or go to SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender licensed under NMLS 6066 and 217037.
Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Are you ready to purchase your first home? Did you lose your home during the recent economic downturn? You might qualify for a free $15,000 grant toward a purchase of your new home. Yes, there are qualifications, however, most counties in Southern California are included. You simply need to submit your application to the Siegel Lending Team, get your pre-approval letter, go shopping, and start packing. Contact the Siegel Lending Team at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990 or www.siegellendingteam.com. You might qualify for a free $15,000 grant toward a purchase of your new home. Again, apply for your free $15,000 at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990 or www.siegellendingteam.com. That's siegellendingteam.com.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Home and Finance Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. 7 things you can do about IRS phone scams. That is the subject of today's Word on Wealth segment, brought to you by askaboutreversemortgages.com. I'm going to share this with you every day, so don't get bored. The laws or the rules, the guidelines on the reverse mortgage are changing effective March 2nd. It sounds like a long time away, but if you think about it, weren't we just celebrating New Year's and now we're almost celebrating Thanksgiving? Mm-hmm. Amazing. But here's a couple of thoughts on IRS phone scams that you just should be aware of, especially as we get closer and closer to tax season. I suggest, as you know, that we are in the midst of tax season today. You should be doing your taxes right now, just finalizing them later. But your tax professional can't plan in January. Planning happens before the end of the year, so go meet with them right away. If you don't have a great tax professional, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with them. Not what I do. Putting you in touch with the right people. That's what I do. So if you get a call from the IRS, and here's one of the scams that we got recorded. Hi, this message is intended to contact you. My name is blank. I am calling regarding an enforcement actions executed by the U.S. Treasury intending your serious attention. Ignoring this will be a second attempt to avoid initial appearance before a magistrate judge or a federal grand jury for a criminal offense. My telephone number is blank. I advise you to cooperate with us and help us to help you. Thank you. If you get this call, and I use this in the reverse mortgage segment because they so often scam our seniors slime balls that they are. Here's what you do. Do not call back. Do not reply. Do not send a text message or an email. It is a scam. If they catch you unaware and you answer the phone, hang up. If for some reason you've stayed on the phone with them long enough for them to threaten, call the police or have you arrested, feel free to say, please do send the police. Ask them to send the police. Because when they call, the police can get a hold of their information. Report calls claiming to be from the IRS or Treasury Department to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. The phone number is 800-366-4484 or www.tigta.gov. It's called an impersonation scam. If you believe you have a legitimate tax payment issue, you can call the IRS directly. The legitimate phone number, 800-829-1040. Staff members can help you there. File a complaint with the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, depending upon your state. You may also be able to report the crime to your state's Consumer Protection Unit. Just be diligent. The IRS is not going to be calling you. They're not going to be texting you. We know the NSA is watching, but the IRS is not. So be careful and be diligent. And we want you to have a great holiday season, not to be caught in one of these stupid scams where they're going after our seniors.
It's a good point about preparing your taxes.
Yeah, isn't that it's important. That is the Word on Wealth segment today, brought to you by AskAboutReverseMortgages.com. So let's continue our conversation with Lance Indies and with Lexi Camargo, the Realty System. Lance is with Prominent Escrow. But Lexi, we talked earlier today about where the home price expectation survey is going with real estate, and that's great because you got a bunch of these guys that are sitting in their offices with their green shade visors and calculators and computers, but you're out there really talking to the real people. What are you seeing out in the marketplace?
Unfortunately, product is sitting. Unfortunately, houses are sitting for a little while longer than we'd anticipated. The market is definitely adjusted from being more of a seller's market to being more of a buyer's market, as fewer homes are actually closing. Fewer homes closed in October than September, even though prices rose. So prices, we live in Orange County, the third highest priced community in the entire nation. We experienced a 10% increase in appreciation since this time last year, but the number of transactions are slowing. So it's transitioning to a buyer's market, Ron.
So the most of what I've seen is that we're dealing with about 5.5 months of inventory or products on the market, 5.5 months supply. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, do you think that it's the properties are sitting longer? I mean, you obviously think that you've said that they're sitting longer. Is it because they're not priced properly, they're not marketed properly, or is it just because that there's less desire to buy property right now?
Well, we're seeing a couple things. Number one, the amount of investors in the single-family segment is decreased, actually, which is a large chunk of the buyers. Secondly, with the owner-occupant buyers, we're seeing that they're a little more picky right now. They can be more choosy. They can desire this or desire that. They can negotiate a little harder through their agents, that type of thing. And then again, on the buyer's side, if you have a buyer coming in negotiating hard, and as a seller you don't want to be flexible on it, it's going to put you in a position where you're going to miss offers.
That's an interesting point. So what I'm taking from that is something that I mention all the time. Lance and I chat about this regularly, is about the idea of having professional guidance. Because as a experienced real estate, I mean, you're a broker, you're beyond the agent area. I mean, I've got a real estate license, but I'm not a broker. It means you had to go to more schooling and more training and more tests and all that good stuff. But the concept there really, to me, would say that I need somebody that is advising me, if I have a property to either buy or I'm in the market to sell, to give me some realistic expectations. I mean, if I'm not in the market every day, why would I be telling you that the pricing is right as opposed to what you're seeing out there.
That's correct. And fortunately, a lot of times it does have, we do have to coach a lot. We have to coach our clients. We have to set realistic expectations. And I know a lot of you out there own your own homes and you've thought about selling in times past, or you have sold in times past, and you develop those connections with your property. And sometimes it's really hard, Ron, to break some of those personal ties to the house that your children grew up in, and so on, to the memories that you've had. But keep in mind, there are better things, and you're moving into a different place in your life when you are selling. So there's a lot of future expectations that we have to look forward to and moving on from the things of the past.
Absolutely.
And just quickly, it's great to have people like Lexi to turn to. We've had other great people on the show as well, but Lexi is aware of what buyers are becoming more savvy. So they are going to their internet, their phones, their tablets, and they're looking up information, and they're a little more educated before they even speak to a real estate professional. So to have a broker like herself who's already as savvy as well and can take that data that they bring to the table and then take it to the next level, it's just, you have to have that. It's a wonderful asset.
Well, here's the concept there, Lance, and obviously I'm old, so I'm old school as well as being old chronologically, right? So
we won't comment on that. No.
But I mean, I watch the younger people around, and they're always on their smartphones and their tablets, and heck, I still use a laptop. I think that's almost even outdated to a certain extent. A lot of information out there, but it's statistics, right? I mean, you can see out there that house at 123 Main Street is for sale, but it takes a great experienced agent or broker to be able to take it to the next level. That information is out there for everybody. Why is it for sale? Right? That's the information that you get from professional person-to-person advisors, right? I mean, that's what you can bring.
Right. That's absolutely right. And there's a lot of nuances to real estate, to negotiation, to understanding a buyer's or seller's mentality that you get from experience. You get from the school of hard knocks, that you get from doing things wrong, from mentors in the past, that you just don't pick up overnight.
And you have someone awesome like her who lists the property. They go, well, we can list it on ourselves. We can do it for sale by owner. She can get you 15, 20% or $20,000 more. She actually pays herself the commission to sell your house, and you don't even feel it.
That's got to be one of the most foolish things I ever hear people doing is the for sale by owner.
You got to use someone who can get you more for your property.
I had a, and I don't know if you were listening that day, Lance. You better have been.
I probably was.
But if I had a commercial real estate broker on the show with us on the program, and he said that when he sold his house, he hired a residential broker to sell his own property. Because he realized that they're going to get him more money. They understand the market better. They know the ins and outs. It's like hiring a orthopedic surgeon to do brain surgery.
No, exactly.
Right? Or trying to do it yourself.
That's the best way. That's absolutely correct. 100%.
Interesting information. And the thing we ask you every day, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Home and Finance Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. If you want to meet Lexi Camargo, you want to meet Lance Indis, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with them. They've got their information right there on our Facebook page as well. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to Russell, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Home and Finance Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Please call me if there's anything at all I can do for you today. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Financial news and talk on the Astor Broadcast.